How's it going?
Welcome back. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
We're just about to get started. Welcome back. Hello, Dave. Welcome back.
On the same floor?
We got 12 noon.
And I, yeah, you know. Did you really? I know. You remember Clarence? He had a talk with my dad. His whole life wanted to be a little bit active in politics. And he basically told my dad, you got to change to Republican if you want to ever find out anything. So do that, you know.
And would like a protest sign, we have a whole slew of
Here's your $1 million check.
Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, we have a whole slew of protest signs over here. Again, welcome. My name is Michael Schroeder, and I'm the co-organizer of this event, along with Laura. Quick, Laura, you want to raise your hand? Good to see you, Laura.
And then go up and say,
I wonder if they got permits to hand out this paper,
So welcome,
like it says on the
everyone.
permit thing.
We're going to begin today. First, I just want to thank you for coming out. This is a weekly event every Monday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. And our goal, what are we asking for? We are asking for our elected representative, Dan Meuser, to hold a town hall style meeting or to meet with a smaller delegation of us so that we can express to him our views about what's happening in Washington. This is part of the job of an elected representative, is to meet with their constituents. So I'd like to begin today we have a sign-up sheet that I'm going to ask. This is all voluntary, but it would be nice to know who is here and what municipality you're from. My friend Gary has also just passed out the Mondays with Meuser Peaceful Protest Guidelines. I don't have any more you'll need to share. I just printed up 20, but please pass them around. And I'm going to read this, and and you can pass it around and share it. But we have certain guidelines and rules that we would like people to follow. All participants in this public assembly must agree to abide by these simple guidelines. This is a peaceable assembly. In the exercise of free speech, rights that are guaranteed in the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, as you know. There will be no violence, no violations of the law will be tolerated. We will not block the sidewalks or impede foot traffic or motor traffic. And we will act with civility toward everyone we encounter. This is a nonpartisan act of public assembly and speech. Members of all political parties are welcome, as long as they do not voice opposition to our speech. Persons who do voice opposition to the things we say will be considered counter-protesters, and we will ask law enforcement authorities to enforce a physical separation between free speech rights. Police must treat counter-protesters and protesters equally. Police are permitted to keep antagonistic groups separated, which should allow them to be within sight and sound of one another. So I hope it doesn't come to that, but in the case of, we're going to call 911, and the sheriff's office is right down in the basement here to keep us physically separated. We ask our participants, we ask you all not to actively engage with any counter-protesters unless someone wants to try to have a constructive conversation off to the side somewhere away from the main group. We will not argue with or engage in shouting matches or respond to taunts or verbal assaults. Instead, we'll do our best to ignore and outlast them. Our signs and our messaging will remain focused on our insistence on meeting with Representative Meuser, and that he do his job and stop enabling the illegal and unconstitutional actions of the Musk-Trump regime. Representative Meuser, do your job. 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 Great, thank you. All right, just today, Lebanon published my rebuttal to the specious allegation that we are somehow connected to George Soros. How many of you are getting paid by George Soros? Let's see those hands. Yeah, that was just an offensive lie. And so I penned an op-ed to Lebanon, which was published just this morning, and I'd like to read that op-ed to you now. Open letter to Representative Dan Meuser. Dear Representative Meuser, at 12 noon on Monday, March 24th, that is a week ago today, a group of about 60 of your constituents gathered in front of the Lebanon County Courthouse to protest your ignoring of our request for an in-person meeting or a town hall style meeting so that we, your constituents, might express to you our concerns about your actions as our congressional representative. Asked to comment, your office put out a statement filled with lies. It called our locally organized protest, quote, yet another example of a national left-wing organization attempting to spread falsehoods and create disruption rather than engage in constructive dialogue. Parenthetically, that's what we want, is constructive dialogue. These protests, backed by outside interests like the Indivisible movement and financially supported by George Soros, are not about voicing genuine local concerns, but about advancing a partisan agenda, end quote. Representative Meuser, this is a flat-out lie. We are local people, mobilized by local networks. We have received no outside support from any person or organization, financial or otherwise. We are connected. Yes, thank you. We are connected by virtue of our families and friends and neighbors and co-workers who talk to each other and share the deep concerns about your enabling of what we and many legal experts consider to be the illegal and unconstitutional actions of the Trump administration and Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency. As Katie Knowles' March 25th story in Lebanon and Matthew Toth's March 25th story, the Lebanon Daily News reported, my immediate response in the context of Monday's protest was to laugh at the absurdity of the allegation. Paid by George Soros? You got to be kidding me. And it is, on one level it is funny. At a deeper level though, and on reflection, it's no laughing matter. Instead, it is a calculated and time-worn strategy to smear, discredit. Thank you. To smear, discredit, delegitimize, and demonize by association. Part of a long pattern in U.S. history going back more than a century to the red baiting and red scares against communists post-World War I and World War II. The fact is, our group of local protesters is nonpartisan and includes members of both political parties. Republicans were among our speakers at Monday's protest, so were Democrats and independents. We are not partisan. We are not paid. Instead, we are a local group of American patriots and your constituents who are deeply concerned about your wholesale embrace of the actions of the Trump-Musk regime. What brings us together is our insistence on keeping our beloved nation to its foundational promises of a constitutional democratic republic. Woo! Thank you. Marked by equality under the law, equal justice for all, and the rule of law. In Lincoln's words, a government of the people, by the people, for the people. Representative Meuser, statement issued by your office was a bald-faced lie. It was offensive and wrong, and we, your constituents, asked for and deserve an apology and a retraction. An apology and a retraction. On behalf of our local group of constituents, I also once again cordially invite you to an in-person town hall here in Lebanon County or anywhere else in your district. Radio host Laura LeBeau at WLBR AM 1270 has promised to cover the event live. Or a smaller delegation of us can meet with you in Washington. Meeting with groups of your constituents is an important part of your job. So too is adhering to your oath of office to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Representative Meuser, do your job. Protect and defend the Constitution. Meet with us and stop lying about us. Respectfully, Michael Schroeder, for all of us, South Danville Township. Representative Meuser, do your job. 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 Great, thank you so much. All right, thank you for coming out. Now, what I'd like to do now, I'm going to turn it over to my co-organizer. Laura, do you have a few words to say? Of course she does.
Hey everybody. I'm going to do a little reading from Meuser. I don't know, is anyone signed up for his website, for his emails and everything? I know. Keep your friends close, but keep your MAGA pieces of crap even closer. So I suggest you do so because it's lots of good information and things we can ask him about. Hopefully. All right. Before I read that, though, I want to just emphasize four points. First of all, again, this is a non-partisan.
Scoop it up at your mouth, the microphone. Touch your chin.
Oh, how's this? There we go. Okay, this is a non-partisan gathering, and when you talk to people on Facebook, we need to emphasize this. This is no longer about Democrat versus Republican, liberal versus conservative. This is Trump loyalist versus American patriot. The two are not similar at all. So make sure you get this point across. It has nothing to do with Democrat, Republican, anything. Secondly, we have a very important election going on in November for retention of judges. We need to talk about that, and this is not partisan. Is everyone familiar with fair districts, the fight for fair districts in power? And what Pennsylvania used to look like before 2018 and what it looks like now? All right, so these three judges that were elected in 2015, judges, statewide judges are like cicadas. They can only come out every 10 years. They cannot do any type of partisan activity except when they're running for election. So we have 5 retention votes, 3 on the Supreme Court, Pennsylvania Supreme Court, 1 on the Commonwealth, and 1 on the Superior Courts. These are so important that we retain them because right now the Republicans are working on a no vote. They want to make sure that these guys do not get retained. So if we want to keep our fair districts, if we want to keep the people that follow the Pennsylvania Constitution, we need to vote these guys for retention. Yes. Signalgate. We cannot let this one die. Don't let it. We have to make as much hay out of this as possible. This is what happens when you have an incompetent president who appoints unqualified people, unserious people. Did you see some of those emojis? They're talking about bombing a nation, and they're throwing emojis. These are unserious people who are unqualified for the job, and they need to go down for this, right? We need to talk about this until we're blue in the face. You know if it happened in the other way around, which never did. But anyway, if you know if it happened with the Biden administration, they would have. Oh my word! They wouldn't have stopped. All right?
No, we shouldn't either. No.
Yes. And then my fourth point, we got to keep an eye on this bill. I don't think it's going to get very far because I don't think it's going to get the 60 votes it needs in the Senate. But this is a national bill. But right now there is a bill that's just coming out of committee, out of the Oversight Committee. It's HR 1295, Reorganizing Government Act 2025. And I haven't read it myself yet, which I will do, and I'll report back. But I have a very good person in the government who, on very good authority, that this is, first of all, this is not something that the person, the Republican representative who sponsored this, didn't even know what's in the bill. But what's in the bill is basically the Congress giving up its rights to the executive, to Elon Musk. We need to keep our eye. Yes. Check. Yes, exactly. Checks and balances. Co-equal. Three co-equal branches. You got it. So we're going to keep our eye on this. I'm not sure if it's going to go anywhere, but we need to keep our eye on it. On Facebook, I have very lively discussions with a lot, and I'm going to be featuring a lot of this stuff. So, Laura, quick, follow me on Facebook. Skip around, because I mean, so this is how he starts out. This is education about reorganizing the Department of Education. Friend, this is Meuser's words. The United States spends more money per student than any other country in the world, yet among developed nations, we rank near the bottom in educational outcomes. First of all, that's not true. All right, it's just not true. And I have the facts to back this up, but again, for time's sake. According to the latest National Assessment of Educational Progress, 70% of 8th graders are not proficient in reading or math. And while it gives me no joy to report this, 54% of Americans cannot read a 6th grade level per the National Center for Education Studies. So he uses all of this all this argument to do two things: returning schools to the states. First of all, the Department of Education, 60 to 70% of its funding goes towards higher education, post-secondary. All right, and this has been ever since Reagan. I think they didn't like the fact that Carter started the Department of Education, and they wanted to destroy it. But it actually does a lot of good, right? It makes all kinds of good things for students with disabilities, equal access to education. Because there's an argument made that we should not be comparing ourselves to other countries. We should compare the states, because there are states like Massachusetts that when you just compare the Massachusetts test scores, they knock it out of the park. They're online with everybody, along all the leading people in the world. But then Alabama, let's be honest, okay? So, all right, and then the other thing they want to try to do is the power of school choice, which AKA means vouchers. No, vouchers are the worst thing that could ever happen to public education. Right now, we have an accountable structure with our school boards. They're elected people, and they're accountable to the people of the school district. If we go with a voucher program, this is going to take away that accountability. We will still pay the bills. This is what happens when you privatize things. Don't be swayed by the privatization is the way to go. Because the problem is, we still pay the bills, there's just no accountability. So we need to make sure that Mr. Meuser understands that this dismantling of the Department of Education, as a former teacher, it just breaks my heart that they take such an exception to all the good things that it's done. And I hope going forward that we keep this in mind, and this is one of the big things that because he really seems to be on a tear on this one. So. All right, thank you guys. All right,
let's give it up for Laura quick, co-organizer. Thank you so much, Laura. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to pass the microphone. because this is about getting our voices out there, and I want to ask folks to do a couple things. One, if you feel comfortable, just come on up and say, why are you here? Why did you come today? Why are you out here protesting and demanding that our elected representative, Dan Meuser, meet with us? And then, secondly, I would like people to identify and ask up to 3 questions they would like to ask Representative Meuser. If he were here, and we have a cardboard cutout right here, but if he were here in the flesh, what would we ask? I'll start. How can you tell the difference? That's a good question, Phil. How can you tell the difference? I'm gonna start off with 3 quick questions for Representative Meuser if he were here. Representative Meuser, do you support the imposition of these steep tariffs on our longtime and best trading partners in the world, Canada, Mexico, and the European Union? Do you support or oppose those tariffs? Which is just insane because it's going to raise prices and we won't even get into that. Secondly, I would ask him, Representative Meuser, what is your response to President Trump's threat to take over by force Greenland and turn Canada into our 51st state and take over the Panama Canal? Do you support the insulting of our neighbors to the north and the forcible takeover of Greenland and the Panama Canal and potentially Canada? Number 3, I would ask the Representative Meuser, do you agree with President Trump's argument that he does not have to enforce the laws that Congress passes if he doesn't like those laws? So, for instance, he issued a memo last week, the administration did, saying they're not gonna enforce, they're not gonna spend the money that Congress has appropriated because they don't like what it's doing. That is fundamentally unconstitutional. Our Constitution gives the power of the purse to Congress and the power of enforcing the law to the president. So, Representative Meuser, are you voluntarily relinquishing the power of the purse to the President of the United States? Yes or no? So those are 3 questions I'd like to ask, but mainly I'm going to like to ask him, when are you going to get a spine? Do your job. Do your job. Do your job. Bam. Do your job. Do your job. Do your job. Very good, thank you. Okay, now we're going to turn it into an open mic. And Lou, I see your hand is up, and I see Lou brought his American flag. And I want to encourage people to bring their flags to this event because the flag is a nonpartisan symbol of our patriotism and our love of this country. So thank you very much, Lou, for bringing your flag and for lending your voice.
Thank you, Mike. Mike for Congress. First thing I want to say is I'm 66 years old. And all my life, I hated Mondays. Not anymore. I love Mondays. Oh my God. I look forward to this, and I love seeing everybody here with their signs and standing up for democracy, because democracy requires courage. I see courage here today. So thank you. Regarding paid protesters, I can't wrap my head around it, but I'll be honest, I would love to be a paid protester. You know why? Because fighting fascism is a full-time job. It's a full-time job. And another thing about paid protesters, there is one here. There is a paid protester here. It's this guy over here, cut out in cardboard. I say that because he collects a paycheck while he's protesting our rights to Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. He should be ashamed of himself to call us paid protesters. I've worked all my life. to earn my Social Security benefits, and I'm not going to give up without a fight. And I appreciate all of you here. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Lou. Thank you for lending your voice. Okay, absolutely. Here's my friend Bill, who I just met this morning.
I saw this newspaper article last week, and I was so impressed and inspired by all you folks reading today, and I just want to come here and say a few words. Where they crossed the line was changing their opinion on Ukraine, and are we a communist country now? Are you kidding me? Our NATO allies don't trust us anymore. So that's number one. Number two, I'm very worried about Social Security and what they're doing here. They're closing all our Social Security offices, so God forbid you don't get your check on time. Where are you going to go? Cutting off the phone lines. So that's also very important to me. I'm also a veteran. I was in the Vietnam era. I won't talk about that. I will just tell you that I was in the Vietnam era, and I lost a lot of people in that war. All my family, my father, my grandfather, my 5 brothers, my cousins, my uncles, we all served this country. What did Trump do? He had heel spurs. He's a communist puppet. I saw a sign over here. Trump is a Russian asset.
Yes, he is.
He absolutely is. And I just want to thank you. I wasn't prepared to say a whole lot. And the other thing was the veterans benefits. I'm very concerned about that. But also, thanks to the veterans, the VA right here in Lebanon doing the best in the United States for taking care of me. I just got a new shoulder last October. So I'm very grateful. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your service.
Let's give it a hand. Give it up for Bill. Thank you so much, Bill. Thank you for your service in the U.S. Army. Thank you for coming out here today. 82 years old, his very first public protest in 82 years. Yeah. And that says something not only about Bill's character, but it says something about where we are as a nation right now. That people are, every day I run into people who are just plain scared, anxious, frightened, worried, preoccupied about where this country's going. So, again, we'd like to pass the microphone around. Who else would like to come up? Please come on up here. I wish it would stretch, the cord would stretch that long, but it won't. You need to put your mouth right next to the microphone here, but please, come on up. What say your name, what township you're in, and why you are here.
I'm Diane. I'm in North Londonderry Township, and I'm here because I am not ready to give up my country. Like Joe already discussed this, I read 2 articles now that Meuser has talked about town hall in Philadelphia. And not even in his area. Because he wants to run for governor. According to Meuser. He won't meet with us. He won't come here to see us. He's a no-show for us. He thinks we're not smart enough to know how to vote. That's what I think. So let's show him when he runs for governor.
Thank you very much, Diane. Okay. All right. Ron. Here you go, Ron.
Oh, that's one of my favorites too. Up your mouth.
Can't hear ya.
I've been civic for many years. Facebook account was disabled 3 times. Twitter account was disabled 3 times. It's like I'm permanent. I am here today as an veteran. I have questions for Mr. Meuser regarding this corporately recognized. Who is Russian Martinez Putin?
Ron. All right. And Cindy, where are you from, Cindy? What's your name and where are you from?
I'm Cindy Barry Dubs. I'm from the Great North, near Jonestown.
Yay! Woo!
And I have somebody from my district here. Thanks, Fred. The main reason why I am here is I am very concerned about Social Security. And this doesn't just affect Democrats. Like Michael was saying, we're here as Americans, not just Democrats. This is a non-partisan, we're Americans, and we earned our Social Security. And privatization is going to destroy it. They'll say that, oh, we're not going to get rid of it, we're just going to privatize it. No, that's going to destroy it. So anyway, that's why I am here. That's the main reason why I'm here. We all earned it. The second reason, another reason why I'm here is to protect Medicaid. And under my sign it says, not tax cuts for billionaires. We need to protect Medicaid, not the billionaires. Regular disabled people, and so on. And I'm also here for the federal workers because he's taking. This is what I want to ask Meuser. Do you really think taking a sledgehammer and a chainsaw to our federal agencies is efficient? No, it's not. So that's what I want to ask you. Does Elon Musk deserve that job? Musk does not deserve to be in our agencies. It makes me sick. Sorry. I'm losing it. I want to make clear to I live in District 9. Yeah, the Great North, way out of Jonestown. We live in your district, man. And I want to know where you are.
We just came here to see what was going on.
I wish I could just set this down.
Yeah, like a magnetic mount that sets the button. Right?
Like strap this to the fucking pole.
I heard Mike Johnson say that they must do everything that they can to get Trump's agenda done. I thought, well, what about our agenda? Just because we are Democrats does not mean you don't represent us here. We deserve to be So don't try to disregard us or try to discredit our concerns by calling us another example of left-wing attempting to spread falsehoods and create disruption rather than engaging constructive dialogue. Well, Mr. Meuser, here we are. Talk to us. Listen to us. You have a responsibility to all of us, not just the people who voted for you. And for your information, we are knocked back by outside interests like George Soros. We all ensure
Thank you so much. All right, see you soon. Thank you so much. All right. People don't care. They don't care. They're not public servants.
Elon Musk. He didn't invent Tesla. He electronics so you can take over the board and put everybody else out. He didn't invent anything. He went with SpaceX, but he has the technology to the founder. It's all baloney. So I think Meuser in a lot of ways is like the person who drives the getaway car from the bank robbery. They shot the guard, here's the back seat. You're going to be charged. President Donald Trump is an asshole. Surely a successful businessman like Meuser like that. So what does that make you on Meuser? Dan, you're an asshole. Trump is a liar.
Yes, he is.
Chief of the porn star, Trump ultimately paid for his services. Meuser's okay with that. By the way, his wife, I think, had to give him birth to their kid. Too much away from he paid her off. What does that make her? That makes him okay with that. Trump's a tax fraud. The insurance like to buy his lawyer. He had 408 opportunities to declare him guilty. The appeal doctor fled the tax fraud. I was charged with 44 counts of tax fraud. Found guilty. There were 12 jurors. Any one of those jurors, any one of those charges could have said no. He would have got off on that particular charge. But he had 408 opportunities to get nailed, and he got nailed at every single one. Hey, Meuser's okay with that. Trump is a convicted sex offender who saw that E.G. Carroll was convicted of the same by selected by his lawyer. And he had $18 million for something that he wasn't. Hey, Meuser's okay with that. Sex offender is that. Grab by the devil. Hey, doesn't care. Trump's a scam artist who broke many thirsty people out of their life savings. The person at Trump University resulted in a $25 million fine for screwing people. Hey, Meuser's okay with that.
Look at that big ass. Look at that big ass mashed up whatever it is up to.
Oh my god.
What is that? Imagine that. Is that like a burger? It looks like it.
The manager of the sector knows his constituency so much, without taking quiet part out loud. And if he stops them around the street of New York City, he can get away with it. Quiet part of New York City.
That falls out so good.
This is as late as his golf games. Trump was authorized to fly down to Air Force One on the military green side for business with C-17 transfer. Big storage and transfer. Because Mar-a-Lago and Palm Beach straddles the width of the Barrier Island, police forces with machine guns mounted on the bows patrol the intercoastal waterway while a Coast Guard vessel is stationed off the beach of the Atlantic. Additionally constituted law enforcement and explosive sniffing dogs. Since he was inaugurated this year, we American taxpayers have paid in excess of $18 million for him to go fund dogs. Wait for on the news. This is okay to go. Trump is destroying the soft diplomacy and life-saving work of USAID. It's over now. I've seen what they did. Sudan, Sudan, the starving, there's a good food. That's what we're suffering. That's what people like us for. The Americans there for that. They don't care. People don't care. You can find it. Trump's insulting our NATO partners. Meuser's okay with that. Green? What the hell is he doing in Green? How about Taiwan? The Chinese are all over that place. That Meuser's fun. Trump's closing up to Vladimir Putin at the expense of the Ukrainian people who are attacking calls Vladimir Zelensky a dictator. He's Jewish. He's the same for the Nazis? What? Stole thousands of classified documents at the end of his last term and took him to his unsecured home in Florida. Duke was okay with that. I had a security clearance. That's a good idea. I've been to skip. Right? After what? Fired, took the next plane out of where you are, and get out of the job. And you lose your security clearance. You can't do that. The idea that he had all these documents in Florida is unbelievable. Anybody watches any spy shows with little cameras? I mean, what are they doing over there at his place? It's unbelievable. Somebody quoted Dan clear signs of alcoholism, Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, who was assured Congress of his while he was off. Now this we have. Then that day, it brought his wife to the security of the leadership. The bottom line for the rest of us is that if the President of the United States is a criminal, he is a criminal whose very actions and inactions are crimes against the citizens and principles of the United States. Millions of other people around the world. Meuser's okay with it. And he further degrades us by saying how we got ripped off. Well, we're dummies. We got taken advantage of. Who does that make us look? That's not true. Anyway, rich people don't care because they don't have it.
All right, thank you so much, Rick. All right, thank you. All right, again, we have an open mic. We wanted people to come up. And why are you here? And what would you ask Representative Meuser if he were here?
So I think about this person who in our past we should all admire, who is very disabled and did so much. Do everything, but I will do what I can do. So you're doing what you can do today. I've also brought around about 25 copies, so please, if you don't get one and would like one, take a picture of it with your phone. It's the numbers and emails of our congressmen at the state and national level, so you can load up their voicemails with your opinions very easily. While you go home today, just call a couple of these numbers, and they're going to get tired of hearing about it, and you know, it's something we can do. Also, I left this morning to my wonderful town of Mount Gretna, and I wasn't paid to come here, just like none of you were. I think it's disgusting that we're allowing this guy Musk to go around with big checks trying to buy people's votes. Isn't this illegal? It's by the time it goes through the courts, the next election will be over.
That's crazy.
I worked as a school nurse and I took care of kids my whole life. Children that needed Medicaid. We have a photo of packs on the weekends with peanut butter, crackers, and food. So they had food on the weekend because they weren't getting their free lunches or breakfast during the week. That program is at risk. So is our food bank. Gotta read! You gotta educate! Runs our food bank in the county. What's that? Someone today to clarify how they're feeling about possibly having the food bank funds cut. And then I left my little town today. I ran into someone who was taking a stroll, and she was telling me how scared she is, and some other people that live in my community, but live in your community too, of going to work one day finding an email that says, oh, by the way, get your computer and get out of here in half an hour. People are losing their jobs for no good reason. People that are good workers, weeks away from retirement, they're told to get out, they don't have health care anymore, they have to be pregnant, they don't know how they're going to pay for the delivery, they don't have access when they leave to their health savings account, but the money they put in there, they can't get access to it because they've been cut off the email. So these are the things that all of us are going to hear about from friends, neighbors. They're in fear of losing their job. You have someone in that situation now, or a family member, and you are scared to death as a parent or your friend, what's going to happen to them? What's going to happen to them? So that's my fear.
Thank you so much. Beautifully said. Do your job. 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 Okay, very good. Who else would like to come up and say a few words about why you are here today and what you would say to Representative Meuser if he were here. All right, beautiful.
Oh, okay. Pass these around. Or pass them on.
And I wonder, Dan, what you think
Activist. Oh, nice.
I would also
Going around.
ask you about how the farmers are going to recoup funds that are lost from the canceling of USAID. Many farmers are in trouble for that. I'd also like to ask you about what your thoughts are with NIH canceling so much research. They're all great questions. Thank you very much. Dan, do your job. Do your job. Do your job. Do your job. Okay, who else would like to come out and speak?
Hello, I'm Marion. What brought me here today was the history of my family. I remember my mother talking about when I was a little girl, saying how horrible the depression was, how hungry and terrible. She often said he told the veterans to go in the streets and sell apples and oranges. And somehow this all seems very familiar. She almost liked FDR and all of the programs that he bought to help people. And at the time she said, we were all in the Great Depression together because no one had any money. And we were lucky, she said, because they had a vegetable garden and a cow. So I'm thinking it just seems very familiar going back to those days. Also, but I always hear poor children who needed help with reading, they came from poor families, and our districts relied on that Title I funding that came from the federal government. But not a lot of it comes from the federal government. Most education is supported by the state and the local. But we need that money coming in to help our schools. If I had Dan here today, which he's not, he said how great this was that Donald Trump's Tesla was in the parking lot of the White House today. As though Donald drove it in. And if you go to the Tesla website, most of Tesla is made in other countries. Surprise, Dan, surprise. I also saw where he went to Philadelphia. He's also been to Erie to talk to people. Yeah, so to, start his career.
All right, thank you so much. Beautiful. Maybe one more, because one thing I would like, okay, here we go. One more.
I am Cynthia from Florida, and are you okay with no due process? And I also have a neighbor in Pomara on my street that adopted a Ukrainian boy when he was 15. That boy went to Ukraine and lost his life. Pomara graduate. American Ukraine bracelet in honor of that country. They're victims of oligarchs. And I also have two creative kids, one's in an IFP and one's in an IDEA. That's a disgrace. They need their services. My grandson has autism. My granddaughter is for the third term for Donald Trump.
Thank you so much. That's another question I'd like to ask Dan Meuser. Are you okay with Donald Trump running for a third term? No! Outrageous. Okay, and who else would like to come up and speak? All right, Scott.
So these things, that you have to also stay.
First of all, I want to give yourself a big round of applause for coming out here today. Putting your words and everything on paper, making sure all of these people understand that you just cannot walk over Lebanon.
Yeah.
No. Hi, I'm Scott Church, and I'm running for mayor.
Nice.
All right, look, I have an announcement to make. This morning, after 35 years, I have officially left the Republican Party. I was running as your Republican candidate for mayor, and we all saw what happened. Now I'm running as your Libertarian candidate for mayor. The Libertarian Party has been contacted me, we've had a lot of discussions, and it's moving forward. And it's moving forward because I feel like this city is finally ready for a change. This city is finally ready for waiting for something to come along just to tell us that we're doing okay. Because you know what? As we watch all of the cities around us grow and prosper, as we watch all of these wonderful things that are happening in Leicester County and Harrisburg, even Reading, man, we got to at least be able to take Reading, right? Right. I'm kidding, Reading. I love you, Reading. The point is, Lebanon is sitting in wait. We are in the middle of everything, and it's time for us to move forward. And it's very important that our representatives, Dan, are involved in that process. It's very important that our representatives, Dan, make sure that the people of this city are being heard. We are here speaking. Dan, do your job.
Do your job, Dan. Do your job, Dan. Do your job, Dan. Do your job, Dan. Do your job.
One more thing. Okay. Gary.
One more thing.
Elon Musk told everybody to collect Social Security
It's the biggest one for
my 96-year-old mother.
It's so much coverage. Let's just cover all this.
No.
I love it.
What it is like to be English friendly. I work in steel mills in the annual mine. I know what it's like. It's difficult. It's hard for all of you. You work hard for your Social Security, and Musk says it's a Ponzi scheme. They want to privatize it because they want to milk it. They want to milk it for themselves. My mother's not a parasite. None of you are a parasite. He calls our government workers worms. Have you heard it? These are direct quotes. Our government workers are worms. The people at the VA hospital who are supporting our veterans are worms. Are you joking? We gave power to these people who are totally out of touch. There's future down at Mar-a-Lago, living it up with the billionaires. Is this a country of billionaires, 4 billionaires and 5 billionaires? Or is this a country of the people, by the people, and for the people? And we will never surrender our democracy to a bunch of goddamn oligarchs. And we will never surrender our republic to an autocracy. We will never surrender.
Ohio. And by the way, nobody pays.
Right of it.
I face an immigrant.
news. We want something done to stop fake news.
The real fake news.
I mean, I want to be able to believe. Now, I don't get my news from social media. I listen to NPR. I watch vetted places to get my news. I want to hear the real story. Now, I like to listen to both sides. I really do. I'm not going to what I hear on the news is vetted. And it's true. And it's not going to sort of, sprout story to get sensationalism. Right. I grew up on Sesame Street, so that means no more Sesame Street, no more educational programs for our kids, no more great music and other programming. Yeah, let's get rid of PBS and NPR. Yeah, you don't need that. Yeah, no, people don't need to know the truth. Yeah, it's starting to feel like that's our right. Okay.
You might want to watch yourself, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for speaking so passionately and speaking truth to power. You know, one of the things we're up to here today is networking and trying to build a sense of community. So before we leave today, I want to ask everybody to turn and introduce yourself and get to know at least 3 other people that you've never met before. Well, here we are face to face. And this is how change happens. When human beings get together and work together and network and share stories and share their beliefs. So please, take a few minutes and introduce yourself to your neighbor right there. And this will be, I can guarantee, if you keep coming, you will get to know each other. So this is how it works. So again, thank you so much for coming out. And we're going to put the program. And I'm going to ask people to go ahead and just introduce themselves. Thanks again for coming out. And we'll see you next Monday. And we do have a sign-up sheet.